He is, of course, the former UFC welterweight champion, and now December 19th, he takes on one of the greatest of all time, Anderson Silva, in a boxing match as part of the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua card. It is always my great pleasure to welcome in the great Tyron Woodley. T. Wood, how are you?
I'm doing great, my man. How you doing? It's been a long time. Good to speak to
I
you.
I know. I think last time we talked was before the Jake Paul Tyson fight, and then we've been kind of waiting. And we talked about you coming back when you're going to fight again. You had a lot going on.
Yeah.
Now here it is. So how did this all came together? Very short notice, didn't it?
Yeah, man, it was a 48-hour deal that and this fight came together. So I'm thankful. I'm excited. I'm training hard and yeah, I'm feeling good about it.
Now, before we get to the fight stuff, I know you're over in London right now because we saw the news that you're going to be in Roadhouse 2, the big movie with Jake Gyllenhaal. How is that? I know
hmm
you probably can't tell us a whole lot about it, but how is it going?
I mean, the movie's going good. I feel like you're gonna see some breakout stars from this performance. Michael Chandler did his thing. I was very impressed and proud of him. Rico from Glory. Out of all of us, I'm gonna just be dead ass. He working the hardest. My God, I feel bad. I feel like every day he got a scene that he's doing. He's giving his all every single time. So I feel like if if he does not project into a big role after this, I will be very surprised. I'm doing my thing as normal. I'm one of the fighters that's been in quite a few projects, so it ain't nothing new to me. But I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do with my character, and it's been a great time. And Jake is one of the better actors at what they call intermonologue, which is the acting of not having words and not saying things and just showing it with your emotion in your face and how you breathe and how you move. And Stallone's probably the best at it. Second to him is probably Denzel Washington. And then I will give Jake right after that. And he's given us a lot of gems. He's almost like acting coaching us at the same time, which we appreciate. And in exchange, we'll show you how to make this fight shit look real.
Now, obviously, you've been doing this for a while. I think you were one of the first people to get major roles. I think you and Jay Huron were probably the two
Yeah.
fighters that started getting like roles. I remember talking to you on Agents of Shield. I remember talking to
Yeah.
you at San Diego Comic Con a few years ago. They had the roundtable at Comic Con.
Yeah.
Not you don't have to give away any secrets, but like how are the other fighters doing? Because acting is not easy. Everyone thinks it's easy. It ain't easy.
Um, I mean, I think they're having people play towards their strengths, which is good. I think you'd be surprised at Chandler. He's got a fun role, and I feel like he's killing it. I feel like Dustin Poirier, he did his thing. He played quite close to his strengths. Um, Sam is MVP. Like I said before, I feel like so far we all are willing to, but what's been filmed so far, Rico, man, that motherfucker been filming non-stop. Today I looked at Rico, I was like, man, he was eating his little lunch, about to almost snooze out. And it was like, Rico, we're ready for you on set. They're so polite here too. So it's like, Rico, you're invited to set. And this motherfucker was like, no. I'm like, man, give my dog like 5 minutes. But they got a big budget. It's a pretty big budget movie. So a lot of bells and whistles are there, and it's a good experience.
You were doing a lot of the acting stuff, stunt work, things like that, even during like when you were UFC champion at that point, like you
Yeah.
were dabbling in it. How is it balancing now that you have a fight basically like a little over 3 weeks away?
Man, I did the same thing when I fought Jake the second time. You know what I mean? I was filming Cobra Kai. And my coach, who just got in yesterday in the other room, my coach GT Gerald Tucker, he was training me after set. So sometimes it'd be 2, 3, 4 in the morning. When we would get in the gym and train, and he was just used to that because when he was training for Mayweather, they were training really weird hours. You know what I mean? And when you think about me fighting, if I'm fighting at 11 o'clock at night, it's not crazy for me to be training at 4 o'clock in the morning here since I'm 5 hours ahead. So it's a lot of breaks. It's a lot of off time. Like today, I was on set. We got there at 8 a.m. We got done at 6 p.m. And I didn't have to go on once. I was there just in case. So it's a full gym in there. A stunt guys got their own gym that we can utilize. It's a gym right there on location where the studio's at, and then if we walk right around the corner, it's like a big gym, like mats and bags and cardio equipment, saunas and weight rooms. So, um, what better movie to be doing than a fight movie? Both times I was doing a fight movie where training martial arts or boxing was actually my role and actually part of my, you know what I mean, get ready for the film. So now I just make it real.
Absolutely. Obviously, you got the boxing experience. So does Anderson. Was this just one of those opportunities? Because I know we've talked. Like I said, I think the last time we talked was before the Jake Tyson fight, where it's like there's all these different talks. People are potentially offering you opportunities. But was this just too good to pass up? A chance to go in there and throw hands with a legend like Anderson. Like obviously, you're a legend in your own right. This is a legendary fight.
Yeah, it's definitely a legendary fight, and I appreciate you saying that because the way I see it, because I'm in my own shell, he's a legend, and I'm chasing legendary status, and beating him, I feel like puts me in that category of being a legend. And when you look at fights that people would ask, what would be a legacy fight for you? I would be like George St-Pierre. I never even thought about Anderson. Like definitely I was, you know what I mean, thinking about moving up weight classes in the UFC and going up and fighting for a second belt. Several times me and Bisbing wanted to fight. We ran that by Dana White, and that was my plan, was to fight and defend the title, vacate the belt, and then go up to middleweight. But I never thought about Anderson because at that time when I was thinking about going up, it was different guys in that division, different contenders. So now I think this is a fight that people are gonna look at and be like, God damn, this is a fight that we didn't know we needed, and I feel like honestly, I think it's gonna be the best fight on the card.
I mean, Anderson is like the ageless wonder. It's like, how does this guy continue to do what he's doing? I remember when he fought Chavez Jr. and we're like, wow, he's fighting like a legit boxer and he goes out there and wins. And if not for the knockdown, you could argue, like, just like with your fight, your first fight with Jake, like there's an argument you won that fight. If not for that knockdown, you could argue Anderson maybe have won that fight. Obviously, he did get the knockdown, so I think Jake legitimately won that fight. But like this,
Yeah,
like he's a real dude, and it's like this dude does not get older. It's crazy. Maybe a little older.
yeah. I mean, I want to give him his legendary status, but what I mean, I'm gonna just leave it there.
You
I feel
obviously
like
have
when somebody continues to be able to compete at a certain age, what I mean, he has great skills and he's a go. I'm gonna just leave it there. But
winning is all that matters. I know that's really what matters most, but obviously we know you have huge knockout power to this day. You're the only guy who's ever knocked down Jake Paul.
yeah.
Is there a party that looks at this and says, like, you can not only go out and beat Anderson, you can knock him out? Like, there's a world where you go out there
I
and
mean, I feel like if Jake knocked him down, I can knock him down. I feel like we kind of got even power. Like, you know what I mean? Um, to be honest, the first time I fought Jake, I got hit with harder punches than I did when I unfortunately succumbed to a knockout in the second fight. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things that played into the fact that I think I was even able to be knocked out in that second fight. So I feel like with confidence and explosiveness, I feel like I definitely could knock Anderson out, and I'm definitely that's my game plan. It's not to just go out there and try to outpoint him and outscore him. I'm gonna try my best to knock him out. I feel like that's a stronger statement than winning by decision.
100%, 100%. And I know that, like, like when we talked before the Tyson Jake Paul fight, you were talking about the different things you were looking into. Boxing was still an opportunity. MMA was obviously still an opportunity. Everything goes well on December 19th. You knock out, you beat Anderson Silva. Do you feel like your focus will turn more towards just boxing? Because the opportunities are going to open, like that door is going to swing wide open. You go out there and beat,
Yeah, I mean,
oh, there's going to be a lot
my
of fights.
my goal is to win this fight. My goal is to knock out Anderson Silva, and I feel like, that's what I'm kind of really. I'm hell bent on that. I feel like there's a lot of things that can be like, okay, you know what I mean, that could easily take my mind off that being a real possibility. And I'm just so stubborn to say no, it is. You know what I mean? He's taller, he weighs more, he's got longer reach, he's a better boxer, he's more seasoned, he's did better in the boxing crossovers than you did, and you know what I mean, some other things as well that you know what I mean that are also things that you can say these are reasons why this fight probably is going to end up being a decision. And I just feel like I'm gonna knock him out.
I love it. I love the fight. I think it's a really fun fight. I think it's great. Like I said, I think there's a world. It kind of sucks in a way, and I know you. I know you understand it. But like when you were welterweight champ in the UFC, like they kind of downplayed guys going up in weight. Now it's happening all the time. Like I kind of
Yeah.
feel bad you never got the chance to do that. So this is
Yeah, I
like
mean,
a
I
little bit of
beg
a
for
do
that
over.
chance. I beg for that chance, and I got that opportunity. A lot of people don't know this, but I was the first and maybe the only fighter to negotiate. I negotiated like 3 fights on one call. So I negotiated fighting Usman, and then in victory of Usman, I was supposed to go and fight Kobe Covington and defend the belt. And if I beat Kobe Covington, I was going to be allowed to go up to the middleweight and fight for that belt. So that was my game plan. And I just, at that point in my time in my career, I lost focus and I was focusing too much on the lifestyle, too much on the things that came along with it, women, partying, like not like drinking and drugs and stuff, but it's just like being at the maximum 100 party and being I was invited everywhere and I just became like a socialite, and I feel like that kind of took the place that the focal point should have been in. So I forfeited some of those opportunities just by losing focus and just living a lifestyle that, now looking back in hindsight, it wasn't the life that God meant for me to live. So I didn't get those opportunities by like saying, okay, Bisming fight Tyron instead of GSP. Of course you're gonna fight. You know what I mean? GSP's a bigger name. He's a bigger brand. He wasn't the current champion, but we all know what he did. He's the best welterweight of all time. I was trying to prove that I was. So I wanted to fight George and I wanted to fight Bisming. Instead of them fighting me, they fought each other. And this is a chance for me to. You can't say that if I knock Anderson Silva out and he's a striker in the mixed martial arts sport, it primarily was a striker. Yeah, he had a couple submissions, but he was really a striker. If I knock him out, you gotta put me in that conversation when you start talking about people that beat greats, and you know what I mean. Not that Robbie Lawler's a great, Darren Till, you know what I mean, was an up and coming guy that had all the things that say he was gonna be a great. I think Carlos Condit was a great, and I beat those guys, and some of those guys I beat in like dominant fashion.
Absolutely. Can I ask because I think when you think about the greatest the upper echelon the greatest welterweights of all time, I think there's three names. It's George, it's you, and it's Usman. I think those are the three. No offense to Matt Hughes. I think Matt Hughes is somewhere in that conversation as well. But I
Yeah,
would
I
say
think,
three.
I mean, when you really think about the era in which they did it, I would say is George one. I would say is Matt Hughes two, just because we looked up to Matt Hughes and he went 9 times when it was like what I mean, a specialist sport, wrestlers versus strikers versus grapplers versus that. And then we got a chance to sit back and watch those two guys and then kind of carve out our deal. I would say me and Usman's probably tied for third. I mean, you can't say I'm over him because he beat me, but I never got a rematch, and he fought a shell of a version of me that was super. Man, I was going through so much crap in life. I don't even remember the fight. I never went back and watched the fight, and I just feel like with his rematch history, Kobe got a chance to fight him twice. Masvidal got a chance to fight him twice. Leon Edwards got a chance to fight him twice. I'm the only one that didn't get a chance to fight him twice because they knew that 9 out of 10 times if we fought, I'm going to win 9 out of 10 times.
If I was to ask that question, if there was one fight you could have back in your whole career, because I know deep down you'd still like to punch Colby Covington in the face again, but
Yeah, I mean,
would be one?
all those fights is not that those guys weren't better than me and those guys didn't out strategize me. I don't want any of those fights back just because in my mind, it was me losing my focus. It was me not staying the course. You know what I mean? I was married. I had a girlfriend. I had a baby. I had fucking. I was making millions of bucks. I was in every fucking big. I never hung out with MMA fighters. When did you ever see me hang out with MMA fighters? I was hanging out with recording artists, actors, other sports athletes. I was on every. What I mean, Comic Con. I was at the ESPYS when nobody from the UFC or any other people pushed me to there. It was something that I was doing, my own personal PR, my own personal push. And I broke through the mold. I broke the shell of what it looked like to be an MMA fighter, and I made it to be a sports entertainer. But during that time, I got caught up in that life and I got lost in the sauce, pause. But I got lost into the fact of these things that come with it became it, right? It wasn't like the fruits of your labor, it became me just going after the fruits.
Yeah, and that, like I said, I mean, unfortunately, that's sometimes the nature of the beast. And like I said, when you
Yeah.
get that kind of level of success, money, I mean, it's hard to ignore, right? Like when people are
Yeah, I
throwing
mean,
you
I was a
throws.
10-year-old kid from Ferguson. You know what I mean? I grew up in the murder capital of the world. Like my whole family is, I'm a street baby, and I'm the only one that did it legit. So I never saw, you know what I mean, someone actually do it legitimately, right? Everybody's dead, going to jail, you know what I mean, or still currently in the streets. So what I was able to do was do something different, show my family, show people in my city that it was possible, show them that something positive can actually come from this environment. And I was fueling and I was feeding and I was basically sponsoring the 10-year-old Tyron that couldn't get a pair of name brand shoes, that did the girls wasn't trying to talk to him, you know what I mean? So I was giving myself everything that I didn't have when I was younger. And then I just, I'm like, why am I being a goody two shoe? Why am I doing all this other stuff? And I'm watching all these other champions just do whatever the hell they want to and still being blessed and still, you know what I mean, having success. So then I started just living two different lives. I was a great father, great husband. No, sorry, I was not a great husband. I was a great father. I was a great athlete. I was a terrible husband, and I was living a rock star life. But when it came out, nobody was out working me, nobody was out training me, and nobody was out parenting me. So them things I was better than the fighter then. But when it came down to the other spots, I thought those things were separate. They're not. They're all combined together. So I fooled myself in thinking they were separate and weren't.
Yeah. I'm not I mean, it's going to 100% sound like I'm trying to stir up trouble, but I'm going to ask you this question, Tyron, because I'm sure you see, like, there's politics, right, in this game, like why certain people say certain things. When you hear Dana say that Kamaru is the greatest welterweight of all time, do you
Of course.
roll your eyes and just say, like, that's
Kamaru is the
politics?
great. Kamaru is not the greatest welterweight of all time. Nobody go. He's saying that because you know. Okay, I'm the realist. I had the realest route. I had the realest reign. I was a person that dealt with the most stuff behind the scenes and still managed to win that I don't even speak about. Right? I fought all the top contenders that were not big trash talkers. Nobody wanted to say a bad word about Damian Maya, Robbie Lawler, or Wonder Boy, right? I fought all the up and coming guys. I fought even Usman and Kobe and Teal. Those are all up and coming guys, right? He's not the greatest welterweight of all time. What he is the one that kissed the most ass. He's the one that, hey, oh, let's have Uncle Dana on my podcast. Let me accept every fight. Let me go to Vegas and sit and just loiter in his office every week and just try to stay in his good graces and accept whatever offer. If you do that long enough, you will be one of these guys that end up in the category where now you'll be rewarded because you took last minute notice fights, you fought injured, you didn't complain about money, you didn't ask for more, you didn't ask questions, and you always was trying to be goody two shoe and brown nosing. So yeah, he's the biggest brown noser in the welterweight division. He is a good fighter though. He's a good fighter. He stayed disciplined, but that's what he is. He's not the greatest. Well, how can you even say that? Once you say he's the greatest and you're trying to say he's better than George, like nobody even listening to you after that.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I like Kamara very much, but I even said to Kamara, I was like, I mean, to me, it's George, and it's not offense to anybody else. 9 title defenses as George St-Pierre. It's kind of hard not to put him at the top of the list, right? Like it's almost like disrespectful. Like,
I'm not hating on Kamar. Kamar, I just said Kamar's a great fighter. He's a great fighter, but he's not. He wants to be. He was my clone at one point in time, right? He was at all my after parties, and how does it feel to be a champion? How does it feel when Dana White? He was at my after parties after I fought title fights. He was asking me what he should do, and they talking about me when I said I was only at 30%, and how should I do this? And you know, what I mean, I'm waiting on this, and Kobe's just waiting around. Like I was mentoring him and Kobe, telling them what they needed to do and how they needed to position himself. So when you look at him trying to dress up and be flashy or be an analyst or get a monster deal, that's all from me. He wanted to do what I did. I was like, big bro. And then he almost got offended and like heartbroken when, remember, I was killing him during those press conferences about the LL Cool J stuff. And I was like, because I'm like, that's the way I joke around. You know what I mean? I grew up in a family of 13. We didn't have money to go to like a movie theater every week. So did Apollo at the crib. We did a game called Make You Laugh. And we poked fun and joked each other. So I'm really good. I'm really quick with that. So I was just kind of like friendly roasting him, but he was getting mad because like you gotta realize I'm like what Matt Hughes was to George St-Pierre. Like Usman was looked up to me. So his person he looked up to and got a lot of respect for is like poking fun at him. He didn't like, he was calling him Marty. we was killing we was killing Usman in those press conferences. And he was so mad. So when he won, you know what I mean? Me and Usman haven't even spoke since then. We spoke a couple times after that. He was like, "Yeah, I know that wasn't the best version of you. I want to fight that version of you, da da da." But publicly he never ever mentioned a rematch because he already know what time it is.
Yeah. We're talking about MMA. Obviously, you got a boxing match, and I don't want to certainly take the focus away from that. But do you still have a desire to go back? I mean, you don't need to do MMA. You've done everything you need to
Yeah,
do.
I'm still praying to God about that because I wanted to go back and just finish with a bang and give it a proper closure and go back and go out on a win. But I gotta really ask God, is that my pride and ego or is that your will? Because if it's my pride and ego, I gotta be willing, if God say close that door. Because at 43 years old, my body ain't no 25-year-old body that can go and eat a double cheeseburger from McDonald's and walk into the gym and just torture everybody and have a six pack. Like I'm starting to see lunch, dinner, whatever I'm eating, I'm wearing it now. So I gotta watch for the first time in my life. I gotta watch what I eat. I'm on set right now. If I eat something with gluten or dairy in there, like I feel like my stomach is bloated, and I gotta have a scene where they want me looking ripped, like my fucking avatar picture on Instagram. That was from weight cut week. I don't look like that, right? But they hired me thinking I look like that. So now I'm having to be way more cautious, and my body's sore. It takes longer to recover. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if I walked away from MMA, is it something wrong with that? If I go back and beat five dudes in a row, am I even that much more of a legend? No. Am I about to gear back up to go on a whole new run and knock down young fighters and number one contenders and get the belt and reign over it? No. I'm gonna be looking for super fights no matter where I fight at.
Yeah.
What sport it is don't matter. If it's a super fight that excites me and it puts me in a position where I'm geared up and I'm motivated. If I'm not geared up and motivated, I'm not doing it. Anderson Silva, I'm geared up, I'm motivated. This Anderson Silva, dog, I finna squish a spider. I'm literally pumped up, right? Everybody can't make me feel that way.
Yeah. Well, and like I said, you don't have anything left to prove. I mean, you've proven everything you need to prove. Now it's like go out there, make your money, have big fights, right? Like have
Yeah,
fun and
yeah.
have
Make
big
the
fights.
money, make big fights, go out there and fight your butt off. And like I want to be paid well because on principle, I kind of still know what everybody's making. You know what I mean? So you're not going to pay this person because they got more clout currently than I have, more money than me because of that, when we're going to forget about the credentials that they don't possess, right? So when I'm fighting these fights, I got to also be respected by principle. But the motivation of these fights is to go out there and not leave anything in the ring or the cage. It's been a lot of times where I walked out of the ring or the cage. I'm like, damn, I could have did a little bit more. I want to compete and I feel that. That's the most rewarding part about it. The what I make and how large the fight and how many people watch is a byproduct of me going out there and feeling like I was free. I was liberated. I didn't hold back. I just let it flow and let it go. Cause that's the biggest regret I would have in any combat sports, is not feeling like I was free. Guaranteed fight. If I walked away after that, I'm satisfied. I ain't hold nothing back. I can't remember one time in that fight, I was like, "Don't do this because it may not work," or "Hold on, what?" Everything I thought I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like that, and like I always remember that in the Robbie Lawler fight. Like that's like the best T Wood we ever saw.
Yeah,
Like, going out there just
yeah,
absolutely
for
walking.
sure.
Couple. I mean, obviously Robbie's a legend in his own right, and Darren Till's got his own credentials. Like those were two
Yeah,
incredible performances.
yeah, for sure. And I feel like Darren Till, after that fight, like it changed him. You know what I mean? He was on path to be there. They were talking about him he sold out the O2 Arena. Like, you know what I mean? They were saying he the next Connor. He's big, he's strong, got KO powers, undefeated. He's hard to hit. He got the talk, got the, you know what I mean, the gift of gab as well. And then I pumped the brakes on that hype train real quick. And I feel like that changed him. He didn't bounce back. I was the same 10-0 fighter that fought against Nate Marquardt, and I told myself I was never gonna lose. I got knocked out by Nate. I bounced back. I came back and fought Jay Heron. Shout out to my dog Jay Heron, who I forgot to mention that's in this movie. We missed each other by one day. He was here and I missed him. So one time for Jay. Me and Jay was cool at that moment, and we still are cool. And I appreciate Jay for that because it's tough to be cool with somebody that got a win over you because as a man, it's like, oh man, why you being he knocks you out? Like people sometimes say stuff about me being cool with Jay. I feel a way about me and Robbie never speaking after that. I love Robbie, man. I was a big fan of Robbie. My family was, and I had to take the fight. So I can't treat people the way I didn't want to be treated. So I'm thankful to Jay Heron that me and him still have a good relationship. You know, we don't talk a lot, but like it's always love and respect. He's gotten me jobs in movies. I've gotten him jobs in movies, and every time he put out, I'm supporting him. I'm making sure I'm flooding his comment section with some positive feedback. You know what I mean? He do the same thing for me, and I feel the same way about Jake. Like we never gonna fight again. So why am I gonna hate on him? I'm not gonna overly. If I think Anthony Joshua gonna win, I'm gonna say that. But I'm not gonna overly make it my business to like shit on anything he does because I lost him. Because I would have done the same thing to him.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I remember being at the first fight in Cleveland, and I was sitting right next to your family when that like ugly situation popped off with Jake and all that.
Yeah,
You remember that,
yeah,
that press conference,
yeah,
and that was pretty real. I remember being there that night. I was like, man, things got really real. Now I know the second fight you took on short notice, no excuses. Obviously, it is what it is. But
yeah.
you do have a better relationship with him now, and I know you speak nice about Jake. We talked about it with the Tyson fight, but in all honesty, I know you said like you give Jake a chance, but do you give Jake a big chance to beat Anthony Joshua? Because I think this is
No,
like
I mean,
this is a really tough fight for him.
damn, he got the same thing. I'm looking at the spiritual side about it. This kid has had the same theme his whole time, really since Ben Askren. He's never supposed to have been able to beat nobody, and he's used that as his fuel to constantly prove everybody wrong. So on paper, which the only sport that's done on paper is paper football. On paper, he's not supposed to have a chance. But this is not the first time on paper he's not supposed to have a chance. It's not on whether or not I give him a big chance or not. I need to see what Anthony's going to come out and do. That's the dictator. How Anthony Joshua fights, his motivation level, right? And if he underestimates Jake or if he takes him serious, is going is going to dictate how much of a chance Jake has. Um, Jake believe in himself. He got punching power. He's gonna be faster. He's gonna be more agile. Um, and he's never been knocked out. I'm not gonna. I don't go into saying people are chinny like he said he's chinny. I think that's just something cute that people like to say. I don't know what the science behind that. If you suffered a concussion or you susceptible to have one easier, like people that are in the science space, they can answer that question. I feel like because Jake believes in himself and he does have KO power and he did go out there and get this fight, I'm just gonna watch. I'm not going for nobody. I'm not saying who I think gonna win, but I definitely am giving him a bigger chance than pretty much everybody that I'm hearing. They're saying it's like a massacre. No, there's no chance at all. What kind of chance are you giving them?
I mean, like I'm kind of like you. It depends on what Anthony Joshua shows up. If Anthony Joshua shows up, the guy who fought even Usyk, I know he lost to Usyk, but those were good fights. I have a hard time picking Jake to beat that guy. But if Anthony Joshua comes in thinking I'm just going to roll over and just beat Jake Paul to death, and he is no challenge, that's when you get set up for failure. And there's
Yeah.
danger. You can't say Jake doesn't have power. You can't say Jake is a terrible
I
boxer. He's
mean,
not.
he's progressively looked better each time. Like when you look at guys' records and you look at, you know what I mean, especially in the old, you know what I mean, Showtime, HBO build up days, guys wouldn't really touch any stiff competition until like fight 10, 15. You know what I mean? So like in my opinion, it was a little unorthodox way, but each fight, it was a chance that he could lose to me, Anderson, Nate, right? Even Ben, because we didn't know that it could have been a flop the fight before. We didn't know he didn't have any consistent knockouts to say, okay, be scared of his punch. Robbie Lawler could knock out Ben. He hit Ben with a damn fucking handful of bricks. And Ben found a way to grab his neck and get a bulldog choke. So at the end of the day, um, I don't know. We all gonna see. I'm focusing on my fight. Good thing about my fight is two fights before his, so I'll be able to get my knockout, do a couple interviews, celebrate with my people, and by then I'll be able to watch the walkouts for that fight and just really convert from fighter to spectator, and I'll see.
I was curious about that because I know Netflix. I saw Netflix just post a full card, and they got Jake and they got you and Anderson. So are you the co-main event, or do you not? Do we know the bout orders? It looked like Netflix had you as the co-main.
Okay, maybe it is. I don't know. I thought the female title fight, Alicia was the co-main. I mean, I know what they're doing, how they're trying to build up the sport, so maybe I assume, but I don't know the order of the fight card.
Yeah, I just saw Netflix posted it today, and they had Jake and Joshua, and they had you and Anderson, and maybe it was
Maybe no, that could be very well. And like, I'm not saying I didn't know that, but either way it go, I get to go. I've done this a lot because I've like fought on like cards with Ashman and Eve Edwards, and like I've been able to fight and then spectate. Or if I'm fighting after them, sorry, but I can't watch it because these are my real brothers. I'm a feel away, right? I don't want to get excited or I don't want to get sad. So I just gotta mute their fight, go and fight, and then I'll go and check on them or go and congratulate them afterwards.
Yeah, well, this is a great fight. I love this matchup. I think it's a great opportunity. Back in Miami, big card on Netflix, which I love. This card's on Netflix. It's a no pay-per-view. Just get to watch it on. Everyone has Netflix, so watch it on Netflix. I'm glad you got this, Tyron, and obviously, man, happy to see you doing Roadhouse too. I mean, you've been a busy actor for years, but obviously, this is kind of cool. I think this could be a big movie with you and Jake Gyllenhaal and the whole cast over there. I think Dave Bautista's in the movie, so there's lots of people
Yeah.
in that one. So
Aldis Hodge, Dave Batista, King Bosch, Jay Heron, Dustin Poirier, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, Michael Chandler, Michael Venom Page. So it's cool. I still haven't trained with Wonderboy yet. Wonderboy and Rico, they've been shooting a lot of their scenes early, so they've been tired and pooped. But I have got a chance to train with the MVP, and it's such a blessing to have him in camp to train for Anderson. You know what I mean?
yeah, talk about a guy who can mimic
Crazy.
Anderson
Talk
Silva.
about God. That was part of the reason why I took the fight because it's like I'm looking at what God has set me up for. You know what I mean? I don't have no distractions out here. I don't have no women I know out here. I don't have no, what I mean, nice, warm, comfortable weather. It's cold as fuck. I got on sweaters and I don't have to cut weight. So it's not a problem that it's cold. So I'm focused on doing film and doing training and then going my butt to sleep, watching the little Spartacus on Netflix and then take my butt to sleep. That's all I do. And that was not the case when I was a champion. That was not the case after that. And I feel like I needed to be here for that time period.
I love it. I love it. Well, Tyre, man, congrats on getting the fight. I'm very happy for you. Obviously, can't wait for December 19th. Expect a text after the knockout to get a
Come
little
on.
congratulations. And, man, have a great training camp and have fun filming over there. Are you wrapping up your filming and then going to the fight, or are you coming back after the fight to finish?
No, I'm wrapping up the film. If they need me to come back, I'm willing to come back. But they hit me up today, the production. They're excited. They're very supportive of the fight. They're gonna move up a couple of my filming days because I was technically supposed to wrap on set on the 19th. Actually, I was supposed to wrap and fly out on the 20th. So now I'm gonna wrap a week earlier, and then I got a photo shoot for all the cast members, and then after that, I'm gonna fly back in the evening. So I fly back, have one day to go home, see my kids, hug them up before I go to war, drop off my golf clubs and my access luggage, and then pack light, go over there and get it done.
I love. Yeah, I remember talking to you. I think we did our interview like right. I think you were in Atlanta for Cobra Kai when you got the Jake rematch, and you were still there when you got the call. You were filming Cobra Kai, so this is old hat for you. You've done this plenty of times now.
Yeah, I mean the Cobra Kai one was I was trying to go home to see the kids, and we had to went over, and I was one of the main characters in that season, so they literally had to go into fight week and film it. I was filming on Tuesday fight week, so I flew my family into Atlanta so I can. It's important for me because I fight for them, and it's important for me to see them and put things in perspective. It's a love I need that's genuine right before I go out there because I treat it like a soldier that's really going out to war. You want to see your family before you leave out. So I'll get a chance to do that and then head over to Miami, get it in.
I love it. Tyron, I always appreciate the time. You know, I appreciate that. Obviously, have a great rest of your training camp, man. Safe travels over to Miami. Have fun filming Roadhouse, too. Can't wait to see it next year. And thank you, as always, for the time. You know, I appreciate it.
My man, all love.